Hey there, YouTubers. All right, so I'm going to give you my recommendation for the best deal on a B660 and the best deal for a B660M. A lot of things to look at with these. Um, Unfortunately for that price point, it won't have Wi-Fi. But one of the things I was looking at was the heat sinks. I wanted to ensure they actually had some, and usually, when you have decent looking heat sinks, the VRMs are pretty solid to go with it. So um, this one almost made the cut, but it doesn't. So let's find the first one. Now, here is my recommendation for B660. Uh, Yours truly bought this one, all right, and I think it's fantastic. I paid even less than this, folks. I hate to say it, but I got a good deal. Not that this isn't a good deal, but even better deal. Let's say that. So what do I like about this? Okay, um, you know, obviously a full size B660, you're going to get 4 RAM slots, so that's a given. Um, some of the cheaper motherboards that are looked at don't have decent heat sinks. This one, at least, you can see some real material here, right? You've got a good selection of PCIe expansion slots. I always love to have one north of where my graphics card's going to go for my Wi-Fi card, right? So I use PCIe Wi-Fi card. This does have an M.2 spot. In talking about M.2s for solid states, 3 Gen 4s, okay? So that is pretty darn awesome. Only thing more awesome would be a 4th one, which you will see in some of the motherboards. This has a Type-C Charlie header, only one USB 3.0. That may be negative for certain cases. In some cases, and I'm talking PC cases, folks, some PC cases won't have a location to take advantage of this. So kind of a pain in the butt when you're shopping for a case, trying to match up all this stuff and understanding what is what. Moving on, SATA connections, as common with B660s, only 4 of those. But yeah, very solid. If we look at the side of this thing, if you needed an older VGA, you got that HDMI display port. You have a decent amount of USBs on here, and then a Type-C, so if you have an Android phone, that's a good thing. 2.5 gig Ethernet for the future. Little weak on the audio connectors here, okay? So, is what it is. But this is, in my opinion, probably the best deal you're going to find on a full-size B660. All right, 119, very solid. I'm pretty happy with it. I bought quite a few Asus products. Beyond the fact that, yeah, this one could be a little more, awesome looking. Maybe some RGB lights, some other things. For that money, you can't beat it. All right. So, moving on. What did I think was the best deal on a B660M? So there's a lot of choices in here, folks. And though I'm not a big ASRock fan, even though you see on the channel that I buy a lot of them, this kind of just about came down to 2 motherboards. And we'll scroll through this one more time. This one is actually my favorite out of what's in here, but the price kind of killed it. So I'd almost like to pull that one up, but what we're going to do is look at the 2 that I did pick from. So these guys were slightly cheaper, right? Have a lot of the features that one has. They're just, the price is better. None of these have Wi-Fi. So I ended up actually picking the cheapest priced one here. This ASRock B660M Steel Legend. Now, maybe I would spend more personally. If this was the only computer I was going to build, maybe I would spend a little bit more money and get better quality than ASRock, but I honestly haven't had any failures with ASRock motherboards. Um, we've broke some things. Some things have, there's been some places where I thought the quality kind of sucked, but haven't had that issue of total failure. And the other negative with ASRock, they don't do the best job of doing BIOS updates. You'll wonder like, hey, where's the additional support for this? And they'll just kind of move on to the next generation, and the support isn't there. But throwing all that aside, this thing is packed with features. Got good solid heat sinks here, which hopefully means we're going to have some good VRMs. 4 RAM slots for this B660M. Got some kind of RGB thing going on here for lighting. Built-in Type-C Charlie header, USB 3.0. 2 M.2s with one having the heatsink and one down here. So these are both Gen 4. And of course this is the one they recommend you put your operating system on. Good amount of, let's see, is it a good amount? CPU fan headers, 2 of those. So you really don't have a good selection of case fan headers with this, which may be a negative. You may need a case that has Molex on it, folks. But what I really like about this one is bam, we've got this, folks, really good I/O. So if you're planning on hooking this up to a stereo or some kick-ass audio connectors with this, so that's pretty awesome. Good selection of USBs on here, and we got 1 display port, 1 HDMI. Alright, so a lot of things I like about this. The negatives, the quality of ASRock is not the best, but this looks like a pretty solid motherboard. I may actually buy this one, folks. I bought the other one. We may go ahead and buy this one. Thanks for checking out the video. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you.